Emmy award-winning stand-up comedian, actor.
You know, the minute you say Emmy award-winning, everybody's like, I hate this guy.
Why? What were you running away from?
Arey, dude, I had no work for a year and a half.
It was after Two Indias.
After Two Indias saga. By the way, I still remember a great moment with you and me. And then you and me had some breakfast buffet that Netflix has set up. I just kind of look at you and you just kind of look at me and you just kind of go, which is, you know, your way of going again. You know, that kind of this thing. That first Imran and Ranbir film fair, that's the first thing we did. Then we learned how to write for bigger stars. We got called to Mannat, man. And like Shah Rukh was like, I enjoyed the Imran Ranbir.
You would remember that face that did not laugh all through.
A legendary female author.
In India?
In India. This lady hates me. But why does she keep coming back? She's come for 4 shows. I've never met anybody in Bollywood before. Then I meet Aishwarya Rai, who comes up on stage and she's like, you're very funny.
Since 50% are Desis and 50% would be people who are from anywhere in the world, how are they different as an audience?
20 minutes into Carnegie Hall, I'm like, I've said twice. And the white people are hearing massive laughter. At some point, I was like, I should explain, right? So now you're explaining to white people. At that point, the Desi crowd is also like, हाँ यार समझा. Like even I want to see कैसे करेगा ये.
The other thing about stand-up comedians, I think most people may not realize, it could be a lonely job as well. Because let's say when you're traveling with a troupe or a film shoot, that's different.
There is a reason. I mean, it's hacky to say it, but comedy and depression are very, very much, you know, bedfellows. It can mess with your mind. Every show has the alpha male who is pissed off because you have made his woman laugh. Who the f is this comic?
And plus you're picking on him.
And God forbid you pick that guy.
Right.
That's a terrible interaction. And then the advertising audience. They're all creative directors who fancy that they could have done that better than you.
What is it about your life that you know for sure that will stay or will be regardless?
Projection of joy collectively is perhaps the strongest sound in the universe.
Is that why powerful people fear comedy?
You've told the truth. I didn't say anything. You know what I mean? Really, you should be in jail, not me. Right?
Veer Das, I really hope neither of us is in jail. Hello and welcome to Sit With Hitlist, our completely unscripted podcast in print series. With me is the Emmy award-winning stand-up comedian, actor, writer, and God knows how many things you do, Veer Das. Thank you very much for joining us, Veer.
You know, the minute you say Emmy award-winning, everybody's like, I hate this guy.
Why?
Because I think it benefits actors and directors more than it benefits a comic. Yeah.
Actually, that wasn't, I mean, even in that particular, it's not a category that's stand-up comedy, right?
It's just comedy.
It was larger than anything else. I remember we were doing a conversation at the IFP, the India Film Project. There was you and there was Shefali Shah. You went up to Shefali Shah and you told her, ma'am, I think you will win. Knowing fully well that you definitely won't. Because it seemed like, I mean, you were nominated the year before.
I didn't think I was going to win at all. And nobody else thought I was going to win.
No, because the fact that it's you and the camera, whereas the others are all shows with God knows how many people involved in the production.
500 people, $3 million an episode. Like the first year I was nominated, I lost to Call My Agent, which is one of the biggest budget shows, international
the original French.
The original French one. And then when I won, I tied with Derry Girls, which is again season 3, massive. I think BBC Netflix show. So nobody thought I was winning that award. Nobody. We were just like, I've been before, I'll eat the salad, I'll walk the red carpet and go back.
But anyway, how have you been?
Good, man.
What time did you wake up today in the morning?
I woke up at 6:20.
Wow. And is that a thing that you do every day? Are you an early morning person?
So I have my wife and I lived in Goa over the pandemic, and so we gave up the Mumbai house because we had an old dog, we took him there for fresh air, etc., etc. And then because work started to happen in Mumbai again, I got like a tiny 1 BHK. Just the whole apartment is 300 square feet or something. And
just when you're here in town?
Just when I'm here, satellite, this thing, etc., etc. And then at the top of this year, we moved back to Mumbai, but I kept that apartment. So I've turned it into like a creative studio. So I wake up in the morning, 6:20 I wake up, I say hi to Shivani, and by 6:30 I'm in that apartment on my laptop writing. My first I get 2 hours of like flow, and that only happens really early in the morning. So
the reason I'm also asking you is because you're the first person that I know, with God knows how many episodes we've shot of this series, who showed up on time.
Yeah.
And in fact, showed up early. And I was on my way. I was rushing from the other lift because you're already here.
Yeah.
And clearly that's something you have to do to be able to do the number of things you do. I lose count of the number of things you've done lately. And most of them will be out at some point or the other.
Or maybe it's because the perception-wise that makes me less important. If you believe Mumbai training, if you're like...
No.
If you make them wait, you are important or something like that.
It means the number of things you're packing into a day, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, you're show running a show, a series, a horror series. Is that right?
Show running a series. I delivered my series.
Delivered your series.
I just co-directed a movie.
You co-directed a film with Amir Khan as the producer. You've written a book, I'm told.
Yeah.
We had this conversation in July 2025, just for people to know. Then you also have your next special.
I have a special that comes out July 18th, and then making a horror movie next, and then 2 massive live shows will debut.
That is crazy. Yeah. So basically, you started at 6:30. You get into that apartment, and you're working until when?
Till about 8:39. It's whatever I have to write.
Okay. So whether it's a script,
or stand up or anything.
And you've decided what you're going to do the night before?
The night before I wake up, I sit there, and then 8:30 baje ke baad gym, and then breakfast with Shivani, and then I'll get into meetings or whatever, whatever
the rest of your day.
or whatever.
But you need to get those 2 hours out of the way in order to...
I can't write post 12 p.m. anything.
I think most people who are successful are morning people. Would that be correct?
I don't know. I think it's also just being in your 40s, man. You're not sleeping that much anymore. Like when I was a young comic in 20s, I could write any time, man. Now I need like my own space, and I also have... we live with 2 indie dogs that we picked up in Goa, and they had a habit of every morning at 5:30 in the morning in Goa, they would leave the house and meet 6 other dogs in the jungle and just play for 2 hours. But these 2 idiots are still trained on that alarm clock. So they are up at like 5:30 barking, and they were alphas in Goa, but they're not alphas in Mumbai. So they want to get out of the house and like meet other dogs, and so it's hectic. Yeah.
Why did you quit Goa?
It's time, yeah.
Ho gaya sabka, Goa. Moved to Goa during pandemic, realized that if your AC is not working for months, nobody's going to come and fix it up.
Fix it also. But also, Goa is... You can't write about the world from Goa. Yeah. My series that I show ran was like a magical realism thing. So that and vintage, kind of an Amelie sort of a space. Amelie meets Malgudi Days is kind of the vibe. So writing it in Goa, that's what came out of me. But you can't write stand-up in Goa. You're not catching the pulse.
You need people, right?
And the pulse of what's happening in the world. Goa, a day is 37 hours. You know what I mean? It just, time slows down, and I found like a really cool community of local Goans. Like, what I like about Goa people is everybody who's an outsider who shows up in Goa is running from something. And usually they're trying to deal with something in their life, and they've come and settled in Goa. Goans are very non-judgmental about that. They've kind of seen people in all sorts of tragedies and escaping countries and this and that. But I think it was time to stop running and just kind of come back. When I went to Goa, it was...
What were you running away from?
Dude, I had no work for a year and a half post all of my controversy and all of that stuff. It was silent. Phone wasn't ringing. I was thinking, might as well be in Goa and work on yourself and write and do all of that stuff. So I was just...
This is after 2 Indias.
After the 2 Indias saga.
Right.
Yeah. So then I was there for a year and a half. If the phone was ringing, it wasn't a happy phone call.
What was it?
It was like,
sir, FIR ho gaya, sir. Idhar Jabalpur mein.
Yeah, exactly. So it was that guy. It was, main dhoond dunga tere ko, etc., etc. So it was a lot of that. Phone was off for 4 months after that. And then there was no work. So then we did Landing, which was the Netflix special, and then...
That's the one that got you there.
Yeah, and that jump-started everything. But...
I want to have, I want some of this conversation to be a mini masterclass on stand-up comedy.
Sure.
And one of the reasons why I can only have this with you and nobody else is because the others may be stand-up comedians, but you've actually pioneered a movement of sorts in this country.
I mean...
No, it's true. I mean... I mean, yes, there have been stand-up comedians before, and we can name them, like say CJ, Appa CJ, more Delhi-based, I think.
Ash Chandler, Mumbai, but Dabolkar, Bamane Rani, Ash Chandler, and Johnny Bhai were the kind of four kings of different types of comedy when I got to Mumbai.
But we barely got to know about their shows, and maybe their performance Taj or something. Yeah, it wasn't like a proper Delhi. It wasn't like a proper city thing in that sense.
And it wasn't young.
It wasn't young.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're not that young anymore.
No, but when I started,
all your audience is very young.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The first time we did a amateur night at Blue Frog or whatever, it was kids from National and Mithibai and all who showed up, who had never been to Blue Frog before. Do you know what I mean?
Because they can't afford that drinks.
So even Blue Frog was like, who are these people who have come in? But we managed to catch something new and young in that.
So tell me something. You want to do this, but why? And it's not like you're in the event management business or anything.
No.
Why would you go about organizing these things on your own? Were you trying to create a scene so that there are more, so then people get exactly what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I also wanted to know if I'm funny from a reliable barometer. Do you know what I mean? I was on CNBC for 4 years doing this show called News on the Loose, right? But my entire audience was like, 45 above.
Yeah, CNBC would be like stockbrokers
and etc. But we were like doing jokes about the Prime Minister and doing jokes about the big businessmen and all of that stuff. So my calendar was full. I was getting corporate shows every weekend, and you're charging a lakh a show at that moment in time. It's good money, for a 24, 25-year-old. But I just didn't know if I was funny or not. So I had to find people my age who were just like, yo, that sucks, or let's collaborate, or let's do sketch, or, so the first crop that I found, which were like Rohan Tanmay,
Rohan Joshi, Tanmay,
Bhatt, Abhish Matthews, Aditi Mittal, Varun Grover won the first amateur night. But instantly, Rohan, Tanmay, and Abhish and me started collaborating on stuff. We formed an improv troupe.
So this is before AIB.
Before AIB.
So All India Bakchod happened much later, but you
about
kind
4 years
put them
later.
together as a collective. Where did you find them?
They did the amateur night.
The one that you organized.
Yeah, the 2 minutes.
So when you're doing this night, you're basically what, an MC, or you're sort of
I'm selling the tickets, man. Ain't nobody paying to see those boys.
You are the ticket.
I'm the ticket. So it is, you come to Blue Frog, and the gateway to getting to see me do 40 minutes is to see these 10 comics do 2 minutes each, right? So and we didn't have a bell or anything, so I got a pital ka thali from home and one chammach, and like Rohan Joshi has got 10 seconds left, and I'm like tang and gonging him off, and we'll crown a winner, 10-minute interval, and then I'll go up and do 40. That's the ticket, and it costs you.
So they become your opening act in that sense.
Kind of, yeah. But it's a $300 ticket, which is damn good, yeah.
For Blue Frog, $300, really? But is it like in the afternoon or something?
No, it was we didn't get a weekend. We got like a Tuesday night or something. But yeah.
And so, in that sense, were you mentoring them because you've done it before? You're doing it regularly. You also have a TV show.
Yeah.
But these guys are like, out of, I'm guessing, college or wherever else. Is there a program in that sense, or just go and perform? Okay, that was good, so you stay. This isn't that great. We'll get you somebody else.
No, I think it was. I didn't mentor them in terms of their career. In terms of writing, I definitely made them write fast. So I trained them to write fast. So it was like, okay, Blue Frog, now we formed a troupe. Now there's the Event Managers Association of India. EMA has this thing where the audience is only event managers. So I'm like, let's write 4 sketches. Let's beg Roshan Abbas to put us on this thing. Or Neil at Fountainhead or whatever. Do that. Suddenly 250 event managers have seen us. So now we get booked as a troupe.
Smart.
Or I was doing Delhi Belly at the time. So I got a call from Imran and Ranbir saying the Filmfare Awards were hosting, but it's kind of old school, the writing, so will you come in and write for us? So then we wrote that first Imran and Ranbir Filmfare. That's the first thing we did. Then suddenly everything from Filmfare to IFA to Stardust to Screen.
So you guys were a company, and so you get in touch with them, you do the content.
They reach out to us. It was just coming in the door because Imran and Ranbir really killed it, man. They were good, So everybody's like, we want that. Then we learned how to write for bigger stars. You know, like we got called to Mannat, man. And like Shah Rukh was like, I enjoyed the Imran Ranbir. Here's the writer who's written for me for 10 years. A guy called Kiran Kotrial. I don't know if you know him. But now you work with him and you get to do 2 segments. And then the year after that, we wrote the whole thing. So it was nice to like be 25 and like you're a writer, basically. But you know, you're in.
But you said you learned to write for the bigger stars.
Yeah.
My question to you, Veer, in comedy, can it be taught or can it be learnt?
Can be learnt. It can't be taught. So there is a. You don't get good for 10 years. That's what they say about stand-up.
Okay.
Is it'll take you 10 years to find your
So you have
voice.
to bomb for 10 years.
You have to bomb for about 3-4 years, for sure, right? And then you will go through the, going to the gym is so hard, guys don't listen, women talk too much. Then you'll go into like, I'm so edgy, I'm also Bill Burr, main bhi Chappelle, kind of a phase. And then 10 years in, you're like, oh shit, they've all come to see me, but they don't know who I am. So I need to leave them with who I am. And then you start writing jokes that are slightly your voice. And when that happens, it takes 5 years to get good at that. So the magic number is 20 years in. 20 years in is when like Chappelle became Chappelle, when Bill Burr became Bill Burr, when Richard Pryor, George Carlin hit their like just there, you know, their cruise control for 10 years, 15 years after that. So I'm 18 years in. So I'm looking to get to that point where I feel like completely myself on stage.
And the names that you mentioned, would they be in some ways your idols?
I have 3. All right. So
okay, Carlin, you said.
Carlin
Chappelle,
for not giving a shit, saying it. Not Chappelle. Pryor. Richard Pryor for turning like vulnerability into comedy. Actually, maybe 4. There's a comic called Eddie Izzard, a UK comic, who's, you know, silly Monty Python, but he looks entirely improvised, but has written every fumble. So the kind of quality where you're like, shit, he made that whole hour up on the spot and he didn't at all. And then finally, Johnny Bhai. Have you seen Johnny Lever live ever?
No, not on. I mean, maybe clips here and there, but
it's an insane level of stage control. Proper virtuoso stage control craft.
But tell me something, like say when I would watch the Indian stand-up comedians before you guys came into the scene, where it was more like the Americans or the British that I'd seen, so I could understand like there was a context to it. Like say a Raju Srivastava, right? Or even Johnny Lever perhaps, from my little memory of it. It was more about mera agla peshkash. Now I'll do this mimicry now. You know, and of course there could be storytelling in it also. It could be a bunch of people who are playing cricket match, and so now they're.
Oh yeah, or like, Raju, he sat down at the 5-star hotel and had the conversation with the waiter. That's his legendary bit, right? Where ye itna mehenga kyun hai and all of that stuff.
But by and large it was peshkash, right? Mere ugly peshkash. Now I'll give you this. This is quite different from that, isn't it?
This is a voice, not a performance. You're buying into a voice. So it is very much. Here's who I am, and here's what it is like to exist in this society with you. And hopefully we agree or disagree, but you will leave the show ideally knowing who I am and knowing how I feel about the very things you are exposed to. That's the perfect snapshot for a comic.
So in terms of craft, would it be closer to performance art or would it be closer to writing?
It's writing entirely.
It's entirely writing?
Yeah, it's entirely.
But you could be a great writer, but you could have stage fright, then you're screwed, right?
Yeah, you can learn that, man.
You can learn that?
You can learn that, absolutely. I mean, a head start is debating dramatics, all of that stuff, etc., etc., etc. But there are comics like there's a legendary comic called Mitch Hedberg, right? Who one-liner comic, but would wear sunglasses and keep his eyes shut the entire routine that you couldn't see. And, you know, people would leave being that blind guy is awesome. And he's not blind at all. But
he just hates like...
He just hates this thing. A crowd
the eye contact.
Yeah, but would kill for 90 minutes with his eyes closed. But the material is that good. You know, the writing is that
And
good.
if he could see, it would make him conscious and he could bomb.
He could bomb. Yeah. Like even now, if if there's one person in the audience who's not getting it, I'm 18 years in, I will fixate on that one.
Shit, seriously? So when you're on stage and you have big rooms now, right? We're talking about 5,000 plus people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now there's that one dude in the 5th row.
The
in the
show
center
is
seat.
for that dude now.
Now, but are you conscious of that guy?
Yeah. I see every
seriously.
Face. I light my
You're looking at every face.
I light every face. So the big rule for stand-up is never light the audience. Put them in darkness and they'll this thing. But I found that if you light every face, there's suddenly like this collective community experience because you can see the guy laughing next to you. It's scary for the comic. And you have to work harder, you have to be funnier. So that's also a benefit. Like the new Netflix special that comes out is NSCI. It's 12,000 people. You can see every face. We rented 2,200 lights to put up to light the audience. I have 3 lights on me. But you can see every face in Mumbai.
That's nuts. So you would remember that face that did not laugh all through?
I can't take a name, I wish I could. But, a legendary female author.
In India?
In India.
Writes in which language?
We're not going to...
Shobha Day talking about. What else, man?
So, this author would come and sit in my front row and the whole show she'd be like this. Right? The whole show. And matlab, now audience doesn't exist. I'm performing for you, ma'am. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Right? So, but wouldn't crack a smile. Right? And then eventually I was like, this lady hates me. But why does she keep coming back? She's come for 4 shows. So eventually one day I was at a thing and I was like, madam, you never, this thing. She's like, yeah, I just don't laugh. But I just don't laugh. I enjoy your comedy.
But it's not like I don't find you funny.
Yeah, I said, I appreciate what you're doing and so I show up. But I'm not a laugher. And I was like, if you only knew how much rent-free you have lived in my head for a 2-year period of time, I've obsessed कि अगली बार इसको हंसा के ही जाऊंगा. But she just doesn't laugh. And there's that too. On this special, you're editing. A crowd doesn't realize how much they can not be visually appealing during a show. I had to edit around like nose picking and like hair scratching and
which is fair.
Yeah. But when it's like 12,000 people brightly lit, like it's the perfect angle for the delivery of the joke. The lighting is perfect, everything, etc., etc., etc. But some guys like, like that behind you, and you're like, I can't use this angle now. I have to cut around this thing.
But you know, there's one time, I think it's been about a decade ago. I saw you at one of those, you know, when you do new material.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it was a place called Hive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it was a late night thing. Everyone had to leave their phones behind. And I was watching you, and don't get me wrong, I mean, I love your shows.
Yeah.
But that was a much higher freaking level.
Yeah,
and I was thinking in my head, going back from that gig, I think I remember messaging you as well. You know, like for instance, if I was to play cricket, and if I was doing net practice, if no one's looking at me, I'd be killing it. Now suddenly, if 1 million people looking at me, or 1 billion people on television sets, when the ball's coming, it may not be the same thing, or maybe better.
Yeah.
Would that be correct?
Yeah. I firmly believe a trial raw show in a club.
There were like all of like 100 people on that night.
A secret show is the best place to watch a comedian. Because you don't know what's going to happen and they don't know what's going to happen. And that energy compounds into something like, I don't know how this special will be received and I'll tell you why. All right. Netflix, after the Emmy, they were like, let's do another one. So I'm like, great. And they're like, what do you want it to be about? Every show I do is about a core feeling. Right? So I was like, I feel like nowadays a lot of comedy is like joy posturing as edge. Right? Let's just do an unapologetically joy posturing as joy special. And let's shoot it in this stadium in Mumbai and a church in London. And show that we are global, etc., etc. 6 weeks before the show, I woke up without a voice. I was in London. We sold out NSCI in 20 minutes. London show is sold out to be filmed in 5 days. And just gone. Alright? So I go to...
Like, what do you do?
It's just gone. Right? So I go to a vocal doctor. He puts a scope down and he's like, you've got 2 massive vocal nodules on your vocal cords. It's 5 months before you can talk properly at a stage level. So I'm like, no, I've just sold 12,000 tickets. It's the biggest show of my career.
How many days away is the
6 weeks.
6 weeks, damn.
Right? So now keep in mind, I'm tight. I'm 150 shows in on this material. And suddenly I have no voice. And so I sit in silence for 6 weeks. And you will really discover what a horrible person you are if you're just sitting with your own thoughts. That's like a really messed up Vipassana, for a long time. But I started rewriting this show in my mind, but I still couldn't rehearse it. So I went up to 12,000 people cold in Mumbai after 6 weeks of silence, and it was that energy. You know what I mean? That energy that you see in the trial show where I don't know how this is going to go.
Right.
You don't know how this is going to go. And it's a brand new show because I've rewritten all of the jokes, but I've not been able to test them. And so we'll see. And let's just be free. That's the material that's in the special. Kudos to Netflix because they were sitting in the stadium like...
because otherwise you have to do the whole thing all over again, right?
Yeah, because Netflix were like, this is not a show about joy at all. This is a show about silence. Like you rewrote it into a show about silence, and I'm like, yeah, but that's I don't think I could do that show about joy. I'm not that guy anymore. It was a profound experience going through this.
What's the difference between a show and a special?
A special is filmmaking, it is. You're competing with filmmaking, so you have to tell a story. There has to be 3 acts to it. There has to be the right shot taking for the right this thing. It has to. It doesn't get enough credit for filmmaking, I feel. A comedy special. It's 20 cameras. You've shot
20 cameras, huh?
20 cameras.
Wow.
You've shot, you've lit, you've mixed, you've graded, you've sound designed. Except I only get 1 take. And an actor gets, but you told a story, so it is very much filmmaking. And in this one, it was a Mumbai crew that shot 20 cameras in Mumbai. Then same crew went to London and shot 9 cameras in this massive church. Then the best comedy venue in the world is called the Comedy Cellar. It's the iconic New York comedy club. And we went and shot at the Cellar, but full Desi crew. So it's like shooting a movie. You'd go outdoor,
right,
and shoot a
as against a show that can just be on YouTube and you can just anyone can get up and perform, right?
Anybody can get up.
In that sense, and it's incredible the number of performers there are, over the past decade and a half.
And YouTube,
like literally everyone. Like there's some 1 million stand-up comedians in country,
And we are the largest, I think, YouTube audience in the world, or maybe number 2 if I'm not this thing. But like. In English, if a US comic gets like 2 million views on a special or a YouTube video, they're like, hey, well done, well done. Yahan par beginning Hindi comic is getting 30 million views on a Hindi video. There's never been a better time to be a comic here, and especially in India.
Explain to me the economics of it. I'll tell you why. Because I see all these guys, and some of them I've heard mainly on YouTube. I haven't seen their shows yet. But when they, when that clip ends, it's like performance in Norway, Finland, Sweden. I'm like, dude, how are these guys performing in these? I can understand, say, New York. I can understand, Canada, the UK.
People everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, but a lot of Hindi.
So is there like an agency that does it? Is there a company?
There's multiple. And there's the, the guys who used to do the NRI promoters who used to do like Temptations and Ritik ka tour and all that stuff. Uska beta abhi comedy tour kar raha hai. Same database.
So they have the venue. They know the business.
Yeah, they know the business. So uska beta abhi comedy tour kar raha hai. And look, the average Hindi comic who goes abroad, outside of like the Zakir, Bassi level, is performing for like 400, 500 people. But it's a good paycheck and it's a trip abroad as well. You get to go. Why not? And yeah, it's Hindi. And yeah, it's Desis. But for the Desis, they're like, fuck, ghar se aadmi aaya hai. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little journey. Novelty hai. But like, for me, if I'm doing New York or Oslo or whatever, it's now about 50-50 of the local and then 50 Desi. So then that's a different kind of a promoter required. Because the NRI promoter cannot reach out to the American crowd or the Norway crowd. So I work a lot with like the local comedy promoter.
So the guy promoting you would be the same guy, say, promoting any other American stand-up comedian?
Yeah, I'm with an agency called United Talent. And so but everyone from Kevin Hart to, myself, they're promoting. So, so they, because that's also my goal. I want to be a global comic, and I want to be an international comic. So then that's, if the idea is to play tennis with people who are better than you are, then you got to have the same manager as those guys.
Right. And was that hard to get to? But that's not a scene you knew. You started here, you started in Bombay, started in Delhi. Yeah, was hard?
Yeah, because it was, first they were like, come to LA and we'll take meetings. So taking meetings means giving money to Uber, alright? Just kind of going from here to there, etc., etc., etc. And then there's a lovely guy called David Tagioff. I was earlier with CA and now I'm with UTA, but a guy called David Tagioff who was like, let's do one show at the Hollywood Improv. Let's book it out.
Which is also a legendary venue, right? Yeah.
And let's invite the town. It's not a lot of seats. It's 200, 250 seats. But that night, Netflix, HBO, agents, all of these guys showed up to watch the new Indian guy who sold out the Improv. And it kind of all went from that night. Like 5 months after that, Netflix offered me a special. You know, but it was one show for 250 people. Got me my agents.
But people who mattered were all there, and they gave their time.
And then you also want, like, it's slightly different over there in that in India you have a guy or a girl, and they kind of are part of an agency that does your everything. But like I have a lit agent, a TV agent, a scripted agent, unscripted agent, acting agent, comedy agent, touring agent. You know, so there's a team of 7-8 people that work on my account.
Which is so different from how you started out, right? I remember I used to see your ads in the newspaper that said some Ashwin Gidwani presents and Veer Das in the center. I used to love those shows, of course. I mean, the history of India was fabulous.
It was, but it was. I watched it here. You know, before I did Veer Das for India, I started writing Veer Das for India. It was early. If you watched it today, in context of Aaj Ka stand-up, you'd be like, huh. A lot of this is premises without punchlines and pointing out the obvious, but not really twisting the obvious. So it's a good show for the time that it ran, and it had huge novelty because nobody had done something.
Nobody was doing it, exactly.
Yeah. But if you watched it in context to modern stand-up comedy today, it's okay. It's early.
There's the other thing, and you speak about it in your set as well, about being too West for Desis and being too Desi for the West. And that's a hard one to crack, right? In the sense, and you sort of own it now.
I do.
But did you go through that initial phase where you're as talented as anyone else, but because the language is not Hindi, you're not Kapil Sharma? Or perhaps...
You have to watch this new special. That's the opening of the special.
Oh, yeah?
Is the Hindi-English divide. Where I basically say, we equate English with privilege. Which is a massive falsity. You know what I mean? And the most privileged people actually across the world don't speak English and don't need English. You know, so there's a bit about that in the special. But there is a bit about a Hindi comic coming up to me and he's like, bro, you sound very privileged. तू बहुत posh sound करता है, तू बहुत international sound करता है. You're not relatable. You have to sound relatable. Then he left in a Range Rover, man.
Well, that's how he made his money, by sounding relatable, apparently.
Yeah, but he's like left in a... I'm like, yaar, 2.5 crore की गाड़ी है, मेरे को relatable बोल रहा है. You know what I mean? Like, what is this? You know, so that's literally the opening of the special. And it discusses, do you need your comedy to be relatable? You know, should you feel like you paid money for your own thoughts? You know, or should it take you somewhere completely different? You know, and that's a divide in the audience as well. You know, there is one type of audience which is like, I want to go into a room and I want to confirm what I feel. Right? So I want to be in a room full of people and you feel it, I feel it. That's what my engineering college was like. You know, etc., etc.
Right.
But then there is a group of people who are like, you better take me someplace new. I spent a lot of money, and you better surprise me. And both are equally packed rooms. You know.
Is there a personality type to be a comedian?
Loser.
Yeah.
Or cool kid.
Cool kid. There are only two kinds: losers or cool kids.
No, there's middle.
But
like to give you context, from my boarding school, Papa CJ was head boy, coolest kid in school.
I've seen him bomb once at Cafe Goa, and he didn't take it well. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But he became a comic, and then I'm the loser that nobody remembers. I was in the school.
Really?
Yeah, and
you would have been. I mean, you would be naturally a funny person as well, because if you can write it, then you are that person, right?
I found stage when I was class 8, class 9.
Okay.
I got
in a play?
No, debating dramatics.
I have to tell the viewers this story, and that's the first time I met you.
Okay.
That was ages ago.
We go way back.
We go way back.
Yeah.
So this is now I can't remember the year too well, but one of the biggest debating tournaments in Delhi at the time was the IIT Delhi Clash of the Titans. We were cool cats, by the way, of debating. We used to travel the world types, you know, world championship and shit. And of course, and then this one kid comes cracks some amazing jokes and he wins right there. And I think you just moved to Delhi at that point, and that was Clash of Titans. And I'm like, who is this guy? And of course, ever since we know who you are, and you've had an amazing journey since.
Yeah.
But debating is where you began from.
Then I figured out if I'm a stage with a mic, I'm home. You know, I'm not really from anywhere. I'm all over this weird international upbringing, but I'm from there. Like, that's home. You know, you put me under hot lights, you give me like some creaky floorboards and some dust with a spotlight.
And it just flows, huh?
Yeah, then I'm not.
There isn't a moment when you've forgotten what you wanted to say. And then, of course, you'll...
But it depends on where you are in the show. Like, I forget what the word is, but like John Mayer says that when he plays color. So this song is blue. Like, you know, my guitarist in my band, Warren Mendonça, again, brilliant blues guitarist, even he plays color. And I think it's synesthesis or something like that, etc., etc. For flow state, every artist has a version of that. For me, it's temperature. So for me, if you're my audience, when I start the show, we are at different body temperatures. And the room, your side of the room and my side of the room are different temperatures. But like 25 minutes in, if I've done my job right, our breathing is the same, you and me, and we're both the same temperature to me. That's how I sense it.
And you can feel it.
I can feel it. I can viscerally feel like there's a moment where it's a big laugh, and hopefully it's gone into an applause break, and then the audience member kind of goes, and just kind of looks around like that. And I do the exact same thing on stage. I sit down on the stool and I'm like, you know, and we're both just like, this is going well. You know what I mean? Like I'm, and the audience members, like, I'm glad I fought for tickets and Ubered and, you know, walked or ran, etc., etc. And I'm like, I'm glad I got the visa. And we're both just the same temperature in that moment. It's very real.
And you know when that's happening.
I know when it's happening. And
you know when it's not happening as well.
I know when it's not happening as well. And in that moment, you can forget your lines. You can say something else. You can butcher the punchline. But that connection will carry you through. Is very well established. Yeah. When it's not going well, you physically feel it. I don't sweat if it's going well. If you see me sweating on stage, it's not going well.
Oh yeah?
You put me under any amount of hot lights, I won't sweat. But when I'm bombing, I can feel like from back of neck down to ass crack, I can feel the pasina going down. You can feel it physically in your body.
What do you do then?
You have to address that it's not going well.
Oh yeah? Just say it?
Yeah. The stupidest thing comics do, especially when they're young, is like joke bombs and they're like, yeah. And then they just keep going. And then the audience is like, no, bro. You didn't get a laugh there. And I know it. And you know it, so let's not pretend. And then you've lost that connection. So if a joke doesn't work, I'll just be like, oh, you guys didn't like that one. And then maybe I'll make fun of that. Sometimes, like, I'll go up and I try and use a new comic to open for me every time? Every time,
okay.
Right? So at the Habitat, if you come and see me on a trial show, there's some kid who's been doing, he's got 5 minutes, right?
And they warm up the audience, right? Sometimes they overdo it, but never mind.
Yeah, but then going in front of my crowd is terrifying for a child. You know what I mean? Like for a young comic, right? So 50% of the time they bomb hard. So you can see this poor guy. He's like, he's 25, you know what I mean? And he's just like, yeah. And ideally you want to, as an opening act, build. Big round of applause. That's my time. Give it up for Veer Das, right? In the crescendo. Right. But half the time it's just like crickets, silence. Okay, guys, that's my time. Please give it up for Veer Das, right? And then I'll have to come on and I'll have to be like, okay, you are not ready for my jokes yet. So now let me talk to you for a bit. Let me do some crowd work. So I will tell the audience, I'm like, you are damn thanda right now, and I'm not wasting my jokes until you're ready. So let's chat. And so then I'll be like, who are you? Where are you from? What do you want to talk about? And then 6 minutes later, when I feel they're ready, we'll go into the show.
But you know, when comedians do that, right, and they have the mic, the crowd does not have the mic, and they start having this conversation, is there a personality type that's also essential in this case? Because one, you don't punch down because it's really not fair. Second, you can't look smug because one they paid and then they're getting humiliated,
Not always.
Not always.
But
I would never take the first 3 rows. No chance in hell, right?
Dude, I've seen such. I won't mention the comic, but I've literally seen a comic and an audience member, and
having a full conversation.
Yeah, having a full conversation. Audience members heckling like, "Bro, you suck," etc., etc. And the comic is like, "You think this is easy? You come up here. You do this shit." And then the audience member got up, took the mic and killed, like destroyed. Audience member did 2 minutes of stand-up.
No shit.
Yeah, and killed better than the comedian. And sat down to this round of applause. And the whole energy in the room is gone. Like the comic cannot recover from that, right? But then I've seen. I was doing a show at Bonobo in this Foster's festival or something like that. And again, the guy who won an amateur night got to open for me.
Okay.
Right? So.
Who was that? Varun Grover?
No.
Even he won, right? A couple of years?
Varun Grover was undeniable show won, right? But this is a young comic. This is a few years after amateur.
Right.
And so he's going up. And it's not going well. Right? And this guy had a full existential crisis on stage. So not going well. Nobody's addressing that it's not going well. The audience is standing. So they're like, "Kab aayega? Kab shuru hoga?" etc., etc. So suddenly this guy goes, "Oh no!" So everybody starts looking at each other, and he's like, "This is not going well at all." Audience starts to laugh, right? And then he's like, "I really thought this would go better in my head." Audience is clapping. He's gotten a round of applause, and he's like, "I don't know if I will ever do this again." And audience is giving this guy the ovation of ovations because it's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's being honest. Guy walked off to a massive thunderous round of applause and then probably drank himself into a hole. But yeah.
Okay, so what's the advice you would give to the audience that's sitting there? Because you know what? It's still the person's show.
Yeah.
And I don't like people it's not a real conversation. I didn't come here to watch you two talk,
But you're also you are a very intellectually secure man. You know what I mean? You'll be okay in a conversation. The worst 2 types of people are, every show has the alpha male who is pissed off because you have made his woman laugh more than he has in the last decade, in the last
his entire lifetime.
His entire life. और वो गुस्सा है, वो बैठा हुआ है that, who the this comic.
Right. And plus you're picking on him.
And God forbid you pick that guy.
Right.
That's a terrible interaction. And then the second worst is, should I tell you who the worst audience in India is?
Yeah.
Advertising audience.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The ad agencies.
The advertising suits, you mean?
Yeah, the suits in advertising.
Okay.
Because they're all creative directors who fancy that they could have done that better than you. Because really it's just talking, at the end of the day.
And that's what it seems.
That's what it seems. It's just faffing.
Yeah.
So the worst is like some ad guru and his flunkies who are just like, what are you? Those guys never laugh at all. Those are the 2 worst audience members you can have. But otherwise, a lot of audience members now, there are primarily crowd work comics who only do crowd work.
Yeah, like Rahul Subramaniam.
Rahul Subramaniam is a damn good crafted comic, but there are others who do only Matt Rife, for instance, is a crowd work comic. But people come to a Matt Rife show to be part of the show,
right?
So that they will.
It's almost improv in that sense.
It is.
You're participating in something like that.
Yeah.
So basically, if someone's stuck in that situation, they should just keep quiet, right?
The audience member?
Yeah.
I think if you're honest with the comic, where you're like, listen, I just don't want to talk.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying you. I don't want to talk. 90% of comics will not be at that moment in time. They'll be like, yeah, I'll go to somebody else. A clever comic doesn't pick on you, but asks you a question that baits you.
And you shouldn't try to be funny. You should just say what the answer is.
Yeah. But if it's like, how long have you been together? Who made the first move? What was the move? Those are 3 easy questions to answer.
Yeah.
And then you'll feed me something and all this. I don't do a lot of crowd work.
Yeah. Why is that?
I've written,
Yeah, you've written.
If you're not ready or if it's not going well, I'll go to the crowd for sure. Or if I actively see someone pissed off or not enjoying themselves, like I love pointing out, like sometimes you'll see a couple where it was clearly one person's idea to come to my show. One person, it was not their idea at all. So the guy is sitting over here, and every time I crack a joke, she's like, ha ha ha. You know, and then just comes back to this guy's just sitting there like that. So sometimes it's nice to go to that guy and be like, bro, if you laugh, like you are getting laid tonight. You know what I mean? Just like, consider me your foreplay. Please enjoy this. You're going home with each other at the end of the day.
Since 50% are Desis and 50% would be people who are from anywhere in the world in your shows, how are they different as an audience?
They are...
Or are they?
They're very similar. Yeah. It's very small now, the world, you know, and also they are. The Desis look forward to me reaching out. Like I'll give you an example. I did Carnegie Hall.
Yes, that was a big one.
That's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Now can I cuss on this thing because I've cussed a
100%.
All right.
Yeah.
So
we'll beep it. That's it.
All right. So I say on stage, right? Now at some point, 20 minutes into Carnegie Hall, I'm like, I've said twice, and the white people are hearing massive laughter. And it's not my punchline, it's just kind of like
sure, just the way you talk that way.
But then at some
That's
point...
the Delhi that never left you.
Yeah. At some point I was like, I should explain. Right? So now you're explaining to white people. Right? But at that point, the Desi crowd is also like, हाँ यार समझा. Like even I want to see कैसे करेगा ये. So an Indian crowd is very patient with you doing that. Like I remember when Veerdas for India was touring, there's a bit about the Andheriya mode ki chudail. Right? It's such a specific thing, right? Now, how do you explain to Norway forget a chudail, what Andheriya mode is, you know, kind of this thing. Right. So, but the Desi crowd is like, yeah, I want to see how he does it. You know, so it's that way. It's nice.
Yeah. Right. Also, I want to segue a little bit from comedy and take you back to when you went Clash of the Titans back in the day, and then of course you went to the US after that.
I did 2 years in Venki in South Campus, and then I got financial aid to go to the US, and I graduated in 3. So my college was 5 years basically.
And you moved back to India thinking you'd do stand-up comedy, or
I was gonna do
or did your visa not work out? What's up?
So I overstayed my visa a little bit, and then I wanted to do a Masters of Fine Arts in Shakespeare. And I thought I'd be a college professor and just teach Shakespeare. And I got into a program, and I got into it in February, March, and I had till August, September to go back. And I had no money. I had these 4 kind of illegal jobs in Chicago. So I was like, I'll come back to Delhi. And then I got a show at the Habitat Center. Vidyun Singh gave me a show.
And who's still at Habitat Center?
Who's still at the Habitat Center. And then,
which is different from the Habitat here in Bombay.
Habitat Center is not broken down every 5
years. I had a very posh place. Nobody will do that.
And then, 300-400 people showed up for that. And then I tasted stage. Right? And then...
and you'd done a bit of it in open mic nights in the US.
I'd done open mic nights in the US.
Yeah.
And then there's a lady called Sabina Saikia, who was the editor of the Delhi Times. And she gave me the Times Food Awards. So I got to do that and started to move a little bit. So then I went back to the grad school. I gave it 3 months.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you missed this.
I had tasted stage by then, like a professional ticketed show. There's no going back to being an academic after that.
And Bombay happened because this is where it is?
No, strange story. It all happened in 1 week. So there's a socialite in Delhi. And Trisha, my sister, and I got invited to her party. It was back when page 3 was a thing. Remember?
Yeah.
Right?
The original Instagram. The original Instagram, yeah.
Right? And in the middle of the party, she was like, ladies and gentlemen, we have a comedian with us this evening. And one coffee table was put aside, and, like a parrot that is trying, I was made to perform.
And you did?
I did 10 minutes in this lady's living room, right? And I kind of did okay without a mic, nothing. And I remember Trisha and me looking at each other like, yeah, we're from Noida. I don't think we belong in this setting, And Sabina Saikia, she's like, will you come to my office tomorrow morning? Because I had done the Delhi Times food, this thing with her. And she was like, you need to get out of Delhi tomorrow. Like, you are too talented for this city. You will peak here and you will wind up like these people in this tiny group, only seeing each other and kind of intellectually patting each other on the back. And she gave me the Times Food Awards hosting gig in Bombay. Now I show up in Bombay. I'm in Times of India guest house in Pali Hill, which is like one, lovely neighborhood, lovely guest house.
Pali Hill Niketan.
Yeah.
I've lived right across, the next door to it. Yeah.
So now I'm here, and it's my first. I've never met anybody in Bollywood before, and I'm emceeing and I'm doing jokes. First I meet Jackie Shroff. Alright, Jackie.
That's Shroff, the best first guy to meet.
Best first guy, right? So Jackie Shroff says 40 things to me. I don't understand a word Jackie Shroff says because I'm so starstruck. I'm like, then I meet Aishwarya Rai, alright, who comes up on stage and she's like, "You're very funny."
Oh wow!
Right in the middle of this thing, and then I met just 5-6 Bollywood people. I killed, right? And the next morning I get summoned to VT station, and Vineet and Samira there, and they're like, "We're starting a channel called Zoom. You're going to be a VJ." So I'm like, "Great, what's a VJ?" I have no idea. Right? No, don't worry, we'll figure it out. We'll train you. Move to Bombay next week, and so I called a friend, and I'm like, "Do you have a broker?" And she's like, "Where do you want to live?" And I'm like, this shit looks pretty good. Yeah, like, sorry, Pali Hill looks pretty good. And a guy called Imtiaz showed up on a motorcycle and took me to Dr. Russell Pinto's house, where there was one extra room for $6,000. And I moved to Bombay within a week of that gig. And I did a VJ gig on Zoom. I was fired in 3 months.
Oh, why?
I'm terrible VJ.
What?
VJs are enthu. VJs are enthu about a kick in the nuts. A VJ is like, yeah, best kick in the nuts. Like, it's not like,
but tell me something. Like I know this about lots of professions, VJ included, sometimes even RJs.
Yeah.
They're always high strung.
Always on.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the building I work in have a lot of RJs because Radio City is here, and of course some of them are my friends. But even when they're in the lift, they're like chop.
Yeah, that's the difference between a comic and a VJ.
A comic can be extremely like you're not trying to be funny all the time,
and we're not in real life.
Right.
We're shitting on the guy who's the life of the party. But I remember it was yesterday, and God bless all of them. But I got I knew Purab a little bit.
Purab Kohli.
Yeah, and
who was a VJ at the time.
Who was a VJ at the time, right? And I knew his ex-wife, and so I'm like, I'm going to be a VJ, man. And he's like, come, you will meet the VJs. and VJs are the OG influencers. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I'm sitting at this flat, which is Gaurav Kapoor's flat.
I got it.
Right, and I've met VJ Gaurav, VJ Nikhil, VJ Purab, VJ Cyrus and VJ Salil.
They all have the first name, same first name.
Yeah, and I'm like, do they live together? Like, is this some sort of VJ barracks where they all kind of, like the models in Zoolander, they all kind of live. And so I'm like, look at these muscular, good-looking guys. So then there's this guy called VJ Salil who has told this story before, so he'll admit it. I think Salil was with B4U or whatever. And he's like, you want to be a VJ? And I was like, no, I want to be a stand-up comic. And he's like, bro, should leave. There is no future.
There is no such thing.
There is no such thing. You're in the wrong country for this thing. And at that time, he was right. There was no scene.
Yeah. You had to create that scene from scratch almost.
Yeah, but then you're on Zoom and my producer would dress me like an MTV VJ. Right? So I remember I'm wearing like one ganji. Right? I don't have biceps at this moment in time. Right? I'm like, hey guys, this next song is amazing, right? You have to be enthu about all of this shit, right? And then I can hear her talking to other people like his arms are so flabby, and I'm like, lady, just give me sleeves then. No, why are you making me wear the ganji? If you know I don't have the arms for the ganji, just aisa sleeves pehna de mere ko. It just did not work at all. I was off the air in 3 months,
And the other thing about stand-up comedians, I think most people may not realize, and these are from friends who've told me this, it could be a lonely job as well, because let's say when you're traveling with a troupe or a film shoot, that's different.
There is a reason. I mean, it's hacky to say it, but comedy and depression are very, very much, bedfellows. It's because you spend 80% of your life alone. Like a vampire, man. You wake up in a hotel, you don't go to work till 9 p.m. So you're just in a hotel, somewhere, Boise, Idaho.
In Oslo, whatever.
Stavanger, whatever, etc. Now, most comics will take a opening act.
That's one more person.
That's one more person, but then that guy is basically your friend, you know, so you can have this thing with. I like traveling alone a little bit because I write better. I always feel like I'm babysitting. I travel without managers, without anybody. And my level of being known is comfortable enough where the audience is like, hey man, fist bump. But nobody's like chucking their underwear at me or, you know, any of that shit. So I can go across most of the world alone. Mumbai and all are different, but the world alone.
You travel with your wife though?
Shivani's damn smart. She'll pick good destinations. You know, so she's like, Sydney Opera House, Edinburgh, Carnegie Hall, She's not coming to Arlington, Texas, or you know, to Nottingham in England or something like that.
Does it become a chore at some point? It's like a consultant's job who travels pretty much every day of the week. You're just going to another city. You're roughly going to do the same thing in the sense that if that's the material you've already chosen to do over the tour,
it can mess with your mind for sure. There's a bit in the new special which I talk about waking up on a flight that I thought was from Singapore to Mumbai, and it was a London flight. I had put a last-minute show on sale in London, and we had sold 1,000 tickets. I changed my flight, bought my ticket, checked myself in. I bought my ticket on this thing, checked myself in, etc., etc. And I woke up, and for 2 hours, I had no idea how I got on that flight. And it was my 186th show.
Damn.
That year. So I had a conversation with the bit is that the purser comes up to me and he's like, Mr. Das, this flight is to London. And I start yelling, no, this flight is to Mumbai. And when a brown man with a beard starts yelling a new destination for the plane, everybody's like, yo, it's a situation. You gotta handle this shit, right? But for the life of me, I couldn't figure it out for two hours. And, you know, you can't feel bad for somebody who's disoriented in first class. You know what I mean? Like
100%. Of course.
So no sympathy, but I had to go to my therapist and I had to be like, I've blocked out 72 hours. Something's wrong here. And she's like, you've been on the road way too long. And this is in that post to India's phase where India wasn't an option. And so I just did 186 shows abroad.
Damn.
Yeah.
In terms of traveling, I mean, you've lived in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Have you done Nigerian jokes, by the way? Anything on Nigeria?
No, I went back to Lagos for a show. Yeah, right.
Yeah? Is there like specific humor that you could pull off because of your...
Nigerians and Indians are very similar, by the way.
Okay.
Hugely passionate and don't get angry, are furious. You know what I mean? don't have crushes, fall in love. You know what I mean? There are no moderate emotions. We're very similar in that sense. We're not casual about anything.
So there is Nigeria. There is, of course, there's Delhi. There is
the US for a bit.
The US for a bit. Firstly, how did you land up in? If I'm not mistaken, your dad was a bureaucrat.
No, my grandfather was a bureaucrat. My grandfather is the resume. IPS, IAS, attached to the Prime Minister's office. Then IFS, India's first ambassador to Bhutan.
What, is he taking UPSC exam again? What's happening here?
Right? Then becomes India's first ambassador to Bhutan. Then chairman Airports Authority. Then chairman Air India. Then gets a Padma Shri and retires. I tell dick jokes.
What's his name?
Brijveer Sarandas. So very decorated, honoured diplomat and government servant and all of that.
And how? I mean, what about your dad? And how did you?
My dad is a St. Stephen's rebel and wanted to not do the diplomat thing and got a job with a food processing company in Nigeria. So I left when I was from Dehradun. We went. I was born in Dehradun. When I was 11 months old. Taken to Nigeria. Raised there till 8, 9. And there's a lovely school there called the Indian Language School, which is run by Indians, but it's a bigger school now. Back then it was not a great school. So I got sent to Sanar up north. So I could have an Indian upbringing. 4 years in Sanar and then Delhi Public School, Noida, which is a different DPS.
And are your parents now in
Noida? Still in Noida. Yeah.
Right. And they moved back from Nigeria. They finished the business.
Yeah, they were in Nigeria for 17 years. But when I was in class 11, they came back.
So the other thing that people confuse you with is the fact that because your last name is Das, that you're Bengali.
I'm not a Bengali.
And you have a Bengali thing going as well. Like I could totally confuse you.
I remember when I was clean shaven, everybody's like, he's like early Rahul Bose. You know what I mean? And I'm from Noida, man. I'm half UP, half Bihari.
Oh wow!
Yeah, how am I Rahul Bose?
So the Bihari route is
mom side.
From mom side.
Patna proper.
Okay.
And dad is UP.
Oh, which part of UP?
Meerut, Lucknow.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's a lot of influences here.
Yeah, man. We are original surname 5 generations ago is Bhatnagar.
Okay.
So
which would be UP.
UP.
Yeah.
So then we dropped that. I don't know why. But yeah. But yeah, it's nice. Go to Kolkata, sell 5,000 tickets, and then be like, haha, UP Bihar.
Your gangs are Vatsapur, bro.
And then all the Bengalis are like, what? He doesn't write poetry? What the So yeah.
Actually, I love that one thing you said in one of the interviews where on the night when that two India's controversy happened, you met a fellow comedian who told you they think you're a poet.
Yeah, they think you're a poet. Yeah, is at the cellar. And I'm just like, okay, life is over. And he just sits down next to me. American comic. He's like, you know, the worst part is they're calling you a poet. And I'm like, for a comic, it's pretty bad. But
so when you were a VJ in Bombay, and of course, that's not a profession that you're interested in for completely right reasons, for your own personality in that sense. But then when we look at you in terms of the stuff that you did alongside stand-up comedy, it's Bollywood, bro.
Yeah. It was...
It's just a kind of crazy place to be in, being Veer Das in 2006.
I got short-circuited into it, man.
Okay.
Like really... so I'm a trained actor. I have a bachelor's in theatre, right? And... I saw Rang De Basanti, man. And, you know, I remember, what was that? I think it's still around. In town, there's that, is it Regal or Plaza or something on the Gol Chakkar? Regal, right?
Yeah, or it could be Eros also.
Regal, I think.
Okay.
So, in Regal, I saw Rang De Basanti. And I'm sitting there going, look at an Amir Khan sharing space with this ensemble. And look at how well Sharman came out in that. Look at how well... Madhavan also came out in that, etc. And these were...
They're not just heroes' friends.
They're not just heroes' friends.
Right.
Look at how much justice they did all of these characters.
Yeah.
There might be space for someone like me. Now, I had done a movie before this.
Which is what?
While I was at CNBC, I did a movie called Mumbai Salsa.
Okay.
Which Vikram Bhatt had produced.
Did it release?
It released. And the first show, I went with my family. Friday night show.
You're the lead in Mumbai Salsa.
I'm lead in Mumbai Salsa. Cancelled. Because only 6 people showed up for this thing. So...
But they bet on you, not too bad, huh?
It's really crazy. I went to audition for like the third lead.
Okay.
And Vikram Bhatt was there and I'm like, here's my stand-up. It's a DVD of a special I had shot at Habitat. And I got the auto pulled up in Bandra and I got a call from him saying, bro, you're the hero of the movie.
Wow.
And so a guy called Manoj Tyagi directed it. But it was something I did alongside with CNBC.
Sure.
So I'd shoot at night and you know juggle the two things. Didn't work out.
That was going to be a Bollywood launch. Vikram Bhatt is the producer, etc.
And me and Manjari Fadnis were in it. And,
oh wow!
You know, opposite each other, etc. Didn't work out. Luckily, didn't quit the day job. Right. And then I saw Rang De Basanti, and I was like, I think there's space for me. Quit the job at CNBC, and it was in any case a recession. So everybody's not wanting to hear jokes. You know, in economic downturn, comedy has to be escapist. And in social turmoil, comedy has to be truth. You know, so at that point, nobody wanted a kid on the news going like, oh, economy sucked again today. You know.
Yeah, it's not funny. I lost my job.
It's not funny at all, right?
Yeah.
So then I started actively trying to do that. I had this one DVD and I've told this story before, but I gave 10 free copies to every DVD library between Bandra and Andheri, where I knew directors would get their DVDs from, and I made sure it was damn good. I spent my savings on it. There's a guy called Kapil in Lokhandmala Market who used to chapo DVDs, and I called it Viragra. And Amir Khan Productions, my third AD, rented it. I got an audition for Delhi Belly. Yash Raj, my line producer, saw it. I got an audition for
So all that stuff that you were doing on television stuff, that did not get you anywhere in terms of...
Zero traction.
Right.
Zero.
It's those DVDs.
Those DVDs. And...
That's very smart though. You knew these guys would be there.
Yeah. And so I skipped Aram Nagar. You know what I mean? I skipped the casting directors, which is a very good way to enter, by the way.
Yeah.
When they vouch for you, it's a really good...
Especially now, right?
Especially now, right?
Yeah.
But it's really weird. Like, I really needed cash, right? I was very cash strapped. And this movie called Love Aajkal came, right? And so, they're like, it's one scene and like some amount of background work, etc., etc. I'm like, I'll take it, man. I just need money right now. Imtiaz Ali, to his credit, very nice guy who had come and seen me do stand-up before, called me up before the movie. He's like, Veer, I'm telling you, this is not much. Right? This is one scene, 2 scenes on paper max, and then you'll be around.
I don't remember you from the film. What?
I was not in the film.
You were not in the film?
So now, if you watch, I have one scene in the movie.
Oh, wow.
But if you watch Can We Twist, the song, there's a dude dancing on this side of Saif, and there's a dude dancing on that side of Saif. One is me and one is my co-director now, Kavi Shastri. We met on Love Aajkal. But
wow.
In that year, I went to Love Aajkal.
How much did they pay you for like dancing
I might be the most expensive background extra in history. I got put up in London and I got paid like 8 lakhs, man.
What are you saying?
For Love Aajkal.
So is it that you did scenes and they got edited out?
No, I didn't get shot only.
They literally got you to like dance next to Saif.
Yeah, I think
you could have been anyone.
One of the 2 girls in Illuminati Productions was like, we should have Veer in the movie. So somebody backed for me, and then Imtiaz was nice. And I'd given auditions for Delhi Belly and Badmaash Company before I left. And so I'm just in London and I'm like...
Before you left for the shoot?
For Love Aajkal.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
what the fuck am I doing here? I'm bokeh. You know? In the background. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
And then my agent called me in middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning in London, and he's like, you got Delhi Belly. And I'm going to get you a great deal. And I'm like, do not negotiate. Whatever they offer you, just take
It's not about the money, yeah.
And I came straight out of Love Aajkal, and Delhi Belly shot within 2 months of me coming out. So, very good luck here. You know what I mean? To quit a job, land a kind of a background role, and then to land this lovely role in Delhi
An
Belly.
iconic film.
Iconic film. Yeah.
And I think even Badmaash Company, very underrated, huh?
Very underrated.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, for a first-time director, Parmeet actually pulled off a very
no,
sophisticated movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. He should have got more work, actually. Or maybe...
I think he writes what he directs. He wrote Badmaash Company, top to bottom. So maybe his next he'll write. I don't know.
Right. So when you, and I think you've spoken about this before. Now this is Delhi Belly kind of national fame, instant national fame, iconic film. People still celebrate 10 years and whatever number of years of its release.
Yes, but also in Delhi Belly, only Imran Khan looked like Imran Khan. I was bald and covered in cement, and Kunal Roy Kapoor had this big a beard and was covered in cement. So we had to really fight to be like, yo, we are the guys who are in this as well. Till date, you'll meet kids who only know me as a comic, and then they're like, bro, you're the bald guy from Delhi Belly? I had no clue.
Shit, seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, you were famous by then, and I mean, people...
Delhi Belly changed it overnight.
Yeah. I mean, of course, people are discovering you with every generation. Which is tough, right? I mean, even with comedy, to be relevant, to have, I mean, literally, every young kid I know will know you really well.
Yeah.
Which is not true for them knowing lots of other people of our age, we're the same age, right? Because
80% of my fan base is between the age of 16 and 30, which is insane for someone my age. It's insane, to be.
How do you think that is?
Well, I got discovered in this avatar. They only know me as a comic. And at some point Delhi Belly was what it was.
Yeah.
And then Go Goa Gone was what it was. And, the one area where I envy Nepo kids is they have good counsel. And they have the opportunity to work as an AD. They know what makes a movie really early in life. And they know what makes a good script a good script. I was just kind of like, bro, a studio wants to make a movie with me.
Right, you got a job.
I got a job, let's go, And then I started to do a lot of things where like, I think after film 5 or 6, I was like, oh, I wouldn't watch this. So what am I doing? And then I only was in the movies for like 6 years, maybe 6-7 years. And I kind of walked away because I sensed this opportunity for global stand-up. And at that point, there was a that kind of came to this thing, and I traveled the world for 2 years.
Which year is this that you decided, hey man, like what's the point of doing things that I don't enjoy myself?
2014, 15. I was kind of like...
Which is just a year or two before Netflix happened, right? Yeah. So it's good timing.
It's good timing.
In that sense.
Yeah, and then the next thing I did was a Netflix special. You know, but I legit remember being on a film set going, you know, now it's a weird thing. Now there's the concept of a comedic leading man. An Adam Sandler or a Ben Stiller or something like that. Then it was just, he's funny, but let's try and make him a hero. You know, in the mold of a archetypal Bollywood hero kind of a thing. So I remember I was just like on some beach, like Aksa Beach or something like that, and I was doing my one, you know, number, and I'm like
dancing.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know I'm wrong for this.
Yeah.
So they must know I'm wrong for this.
Yeah.
And then the audience will know I'm wrong for this. And then I was in LA on that trip, and I did 10 minutes of stand-up. And viscerally, I was like, I feel better than I felt in 3 years. Just doing this. And then I did this showcase, and then I started to kill in America a little bit, and I was like, I think there's an opportunity to be on a very small list of comedians in the world, as opposed to an opportunity to be on a very large list of actors in Bollywood. But it's not going to come easy, and I need to really give it everything. So then I made that like singular focus. Till date, I don't know how it's going to go, but I just co-directed a movie and Amir produced it. It's called Happy Patel. I play Happy Patel. And it's, I guess, a comeback of sorts, you know, to Hindi cinema. And the tribe has grown, you know, of people, of my audience. I hope it's enough to make a small movie work.
And write yourself in, right?
Yeah,
I mean, one of the things that I notice about you, besides the number of things that you do, is you don't wait for somebody else or something else to happen to you.
Nothing
you just go and create it yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Even with Happy Patel, with the show, we've written all of it together, and we bet on ourselves. But I think people can sense that also, no? Like if you call up an Amir or if you call up someone like, sir, if you don't bet on me, I don't think anyone will. But here's something I think only you will understand. And to his credit, he was like, yeah, come see me in 2 weeks. Give me a narration. And by the way, 3-4 honest phone calls like that to my wish list of people.
Like in terms of co-stars or in terms of producers?
In terms of producers.
Right.
Like I don't think producers are used to an artist who's even slightly accomplished calling them up and being like, yo, I'll write something, etc. I have this, and I really would like you to work with me. And I'm betting on myself, and please bet on me too. You know, it's a weird, because it's usually through managers and...
Right, or relations, right?
Or relations, or director, you know, blah, blah, blah. But to have a call out of the blue, you'll get a meeting, you know, and then the content has to be undeniable in the meeting. But I found the response to be quite tremendous with just those 5 phone calls. You know. And
of course, you had a connection in the sense that you've done Delhi Belly with Amir, and that was a hugely successful film.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like for instance, I sometimes wonder, of course, I'll have him on the show at some point. Yeah. Imran, right? I mean, he was the lead. He was killing it at the time.
Yeah.
Jaane Tu had come out.
Yeah.
And then we don't see him at all anymore. Like, are you guys in touch?
We're in touch. I still maintain he is probably the nicest guy to ever go through the Hindi film industry. Just a sort of the old good guy. He's doing a movie right now, which I think is his quote-unquote comeback project, etc. Right? And I think the rom-com also kind of died
right?
And was resurrected recently.
Right.
But the rom-com went away. For a good 10 years, the rom-com went away. And Imran was our Hugh Grant. You know what I mean? He was our Ryan Gosling, you know, kind of, you know, stupid, definitely, maybe, whatever, that kind of, you know, funny, quirky rom-com guy. And so I'm looking forward to him coming back with something interesting. And just a ridiculously, unreasonably good-looking man. Yeah. You know, you put the camera on anywhere for that guy, he just looks good. Yeah. It's very annoying to be in a vanity van with him. It's like black eye, cement, this and that, fucker still looks good, man. I cannot explain to you how demoralizing it was during Delhi Belly because we shared a van, right? Me, Imran and Kunal.
Why were you sharing a van? You could have one to yourself.
Like
it's a big budget Amir Khan production.
No, it was a very tiny movie, tiny budget also.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And they put the money on camera. But we were in a van together for 4-5 months. Imran has just become Imran. You know what I mean? Jaane Tu has come out, right? So every time the van door opens, there are 3,000 girls in Delhi like, Imran, etc., etc., etc. Then I come out bald, covered in cement, and they're like, right. And then couple are like, ye villain hoga. You like, you know, it's just what a stab to the heart. And that guy comes out with a black eye and just looking like shit, and he still looks good. Yeah, it's depressing to be in a van with that guy.
I mean, it was kind of crazy also, the kind of fame that movie stars get, and which is kind of true for you as well. I mean, you did it your way. What does fame do to you, Ved, especially when you were that productive and you have to just, block off that noise, because otherwise, how will you do your next thing?
Have
you ever lost it because of fame?
Yeah, I had 1 year where I had
really?
Entourage and some wheatgrass smoothie and 2 cell phones. And
really? Which year is this?
and sunglasses in airports and all of that shit.
Which year is this?
Maybe 2013.
Okay. This is post Delhi Belly.
Post Delhi Belly, post Go Goa Gone.
Right.
That run. But again, it didn't suit me. And now it's weird. Yeah. Now, I don't know what it is right now. I'll be honest with you. In terms of, look, we're selling out these massive in minutes. You know what I mean? These venues, etc., etc. Right? People are showing up. They're very young. The confusing part of it is it's not a social media fame either, because most young fame is social media fame.
Yeah.
Right? So 40 million views.
And that's scarier actually.
That's scarier actually. Yeah. But so for me, sometimes I'm like, I think I'm social media irrelevant. My Instagram account doesn't have great traction compared to anybody, but people show up for me. Right? So it's a very real connection. And then I realized it's not fame, it's an audience. And there's a big difference between the two.
What's the difference?
A fan wants a selfie, and a fan is sometimes attracted to you, or a fan is attracted to your character, etc., etc. An audience will spend on you and has massive expectations of you, and will be very quick to express their disappointment on you. But the great thing is as audience grows, they grow with you. So an audience will see you trying new things and be like, all right, I'll show up. Because you are challenging yourself and therefore you are challenging me. So it's very different. And I felt my writing really suffer when I had the trappings of like fame. So Ahmed's my PR person, and then there's one other person with me right now. There's no etc., etc. And therefore I get to have a conversation with somebody that leads into my writing. The biggest danger you will see with the comic is, I was on my private jet, or
yeah, of course.
Or I was in this city doing that. That's when you know that guy's not living any life. So with me, I get to live life, really live it, and I leave the country for 5 months a year. So I get to eat in cafes, I get to go to the grocery store, I get to run a dishwasher, I get to, I have life.
Right.
That leads into my writing. But fame and all,
it's a trapping?
Yeah, it's trapping, and also you can't control it. I feel bad for people who are social media famous, because one day Instagram changes the algorithm. You don't know what's happened. You got to pivot, and your whole career is just. And their shelf life is really brutal, man. The shelf life of an influencer before the next thing comes around is really tiny. You got to really compete. Must be very stressful.
So when you talk about your audience and the fact that this is very different from anybody following you, they literally pay ticket money to come and watch you, right? Is there a fear of losing them?
I will at some point, my uncle. It's not going to be this forever, no. At the end of the day, it will be. I will hit 65 or 60, and then my fast ball won't be as fast anymore, and I think I'll hopefully be directing pretty big movies by then. That's your
plan.
That's my plan, for sure. But you don't want to be like 68 years old at some point
repeating your jokes
or whatever, etc., etc. There's this like Seinfeld, for instance, does the act, right? And he's done the act for 20 years. And he's okay with that because he's like, they're not coming for me, they're coming for the act. And the act is like this golden thing that you tweak and this kintsugi and all of that stuff, etc., etc. I'm a comic who at some point I will not want even the lifestyle of it. It's a tough life, man. It's jet lag and acid reflux and being away from home, and then I fell in love with directing. So I think when I hit 4 years from now, I'll be a peak comedy voice. You know what I mean? Like really just, it'll be in, I'll be locked in. Then I'm going to really try and create the material I'm remembered for 10 years. And then I think I'll walk away. I don't think I'll do it that long.
The reason I'm also asking you is coming back to that big thing, that big pivot that happened in your life and career, far more in your life than career, in fact, is that to India's controversy. And I was there when
you were going there, man. In the eye of the storm, you were there. Yeah, it was.
I saw your face, and you were not the same person.
I was not the same person.
And we didn't have a choice but to interview you. I would have rather left you alone, to be honest with you. But I mean, I'm all the way there to interview you. Now, what do you do? And I could tell how careful you were with the wording of what you had to say, because anything can be misconstrued.
And in that moment, the dichotomy of that moment. By the way, I still remember a great moment with you and me in terms of I had to give you an exclusive that evening, and I had to give 2 more people an exclusive that evening. That's part of the contract when you go for the Emmys, etc., etc. My lawyer is screaming from India, don't do any interviews. The news cycle is 8 days. Please shut up and disappear. If you do more interviews, it will be 20 days. Get off the news. You're not supposed to be on the news right now. I have to give you this. Netflix, bichare, doesn't know what hit them. It's their first comedy nomination for an Emmy, and the dude's a terrorist. Bichara Nawazuddin also is there. And Nawaz is being nominated for Best Actor, and I felt so bad because this is kind of tarnished everybody's Emmy experience.
It's become about you.
It's become about me suddenly.
For all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons. And then you and me had some breakfast buffet that Netflix has set up. And I just kind of look at you and you just kind of look at me and you just kind of go, which is, your way of going, gaan lag gayi. Gaan lag gayi. That kind of this thing. But then the truth is, I had to give you an exclusive, and I'm not a fan of crying on Oprah. Like if you notice, post those 3 interviews, I didn't do any news, I didn't speak up about it. I didn't do podcasts. I didn't, every single Western publication that you can imagine was calling for an exclusive. Didn't do any of that. I disappeared and I wrote jokes, saying the next thing I do will be jokes, right? Because I will be better than this situation. So the interview I gave to you was very rehearsed. It was me and my lawyer on Zoom in my hotel room practicing interviews. Because the plan was give these 3 interviews and disappear until I can fight all these battles legally, this, that, etc., etc. That was very much the plan. So it was say as little as possible and then just off, which is literally what happened. I gave you 3 interviews. We left the day after the Emmys. It's a very weird arrival in Mumbai because the big fallacy with the Two Indias thing is I have the data. It's just a video on my YouTube channel, one of many that I have done all over the world, by the way, in that vein. I've done it from every hall, every country, etc., etc. Why that one clicked is a zeitgeist kind of a who knows, right? But there you'll find 1,000 videos that way. Over 95% of the views on that video came domestically. Nobody abroad saw that video as such. So the whole
thing about it was
shared in India and it was watched in India. That's what made it go viral. So I was expecting like, maybe the average guy on the street in New York would have something to say to me, etc., etc. Nobody had seen it. And then I got back to India and everyone in my immediate this thing had seen it. We landed and I don't get a lot of paparazzi, right? Because A, I don't call them, and B, right, I have a great joke about how the paparazzi know who I am. They just don't know what to say, right? So you'll get like, if Alia comes back, you get Alia came back looking lovely with her child in her arms, got into a Range Rover and the lovely jacket, etc., etc. I get captioned like a pandemic. It's just Veerdas has returned. Right? And we land in Mumbai.
And there's paparazzi outside, of course.
It's the most paparazzi I've ever seen in my life for my minute level of fame. Usually the paparazzi are loud, silent. They just followed us. As Shivani and I held hands and we walked to the car and they followed us to parking. But I've never seen, I don't know, 80 paparazzi or 60 paparazzi silent. Like dead man walking kind of this thing. And then we got we had a connecting flight to Goa. Took off to Goa the next morning and I put my phone off for 4 months. And then you put it on. In 9 days, you realize how you're not the center of the universe. And it's just another thing. Most people are like, uska aaya, abhi iska aaya. You know what I mean? Abhi kuch aur aaya, etc., etc. That's just life, that's news. But you have gone through guilt and my God, I burnt it all down, etc., etc. And then the realistic implications of that start to hit you, which is 3 projects go away, 20 brands go away. You can't tour for the foreseeable future. So then I was like, the only thing I have is to write a show about it. So 4 months in, I wrote a show and I had a contract with Netflix for 1 more special. Right? And I hope Tanya will be okay with me telling this story, but Netflix at that moment had kind of had a redirection in what they were doing creatively and as comedy goes in general. So they were like, we don't know if we're going to do this lot of specials. And that included mine.
Because of what was going on?
No, in general. They were, I think that they were moving away to more scripted comedy.
Sure.
Right. So it wasn't me, it was like 8 other specials. Right. And I found out my specials not happening. Right. So now I'm pissed. Right. And I don't know what to do because I've spent, 4 months underground crafting a comeback show. And Tanya, the exec, was in Kashmir on vacation. And I'm like, I need 5 minutes of your time. And I called her up and I was like, Tanya, I'm going to write a show that is going to make everybody feel love for their country and talk about what it is and create this feeling. And I explained the core feeling of the special to her. And in a desperate moment of bluster, you know what I mean? I was like, either I go to this platform and that platform, zero conversations with any of these other platforms, etc., etc. Or you and me go get nominated for an Emmy together. Right? Just. I'd never say that out. You've known me for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
This is not somebody who I am, but just pure desperation. Right? You and me go get nominated for an Emmy together. And she's like, all right, give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, she called me to the office and she's like, there's something in you that is very, that was a magnet to me. So I'm giving you a special. And then we got nominated for an Emmy and we won an Emmy together. Like, it's the weirdest thing. She called me up 4 months out of the special and she's like, you bloody called it, man. Then we got nominated together. And then she was my first phone call when I won the Emmy was just her going, I guess this is what manifestation is in a certain sense. But it was literally that.
You also pushed to the corner, right? This was your Oprah moment in that sense. But in a real sense.
In a real sense. And I don't know what I would have done if she hadn't taken a punt on me because I had very little at that moment. That was the only project I had. I would have done it for any amount of money. I would have done it for no money. I just needed to do it. And then, forget the Emmy, when the special came out, everything just flipped. And when I put a show on tour, after that, suddenly people were coming in with like this connection that I had not experienced as a comic before. I'd always been accused of being a comic without any depth. You know, yeah, it's funny, Veerdas for India is nostalgic, it's relatable, it's Rajma Chawal, but what is he really saying, etc., etc., etc. And then people came in like, I'm here. I fought with my family WhatsApp group, I bought your tickets, I did this thing. Now you better say something, bro. You know, and not audience capture, but you better acknowledge that I fought for you. You know, so
it's a different kind of connection, right?
It's a different kind of connection, completely. You know.
In terms of what you learned from that episode, and because enough stand-up comedians are going through this, like literally every other week, as it's a weapon of mass distraction, as it were. I mean, what would you advise them? Because I mean, sooner or later it's going to happen to someone or the other. What do they do?
I advise them all.
Because you did come out of this well.
Yeah. I mean, I get a call from whoever's in trouble.
Yeah.
The next day.
They're asking for advice? Like, what do I do?
Yeah. It's either advice, legal help, money, whatever you need. And by the way, it's not just me. There is an underground support system available for a comedian who's.
There's a WhatsApp group.
We all WhatsApp each other. We all send each other money.
Oh, really?
We've all paid each other's legal fees at some point for not a higher level of comic, but for a younger level of comic. We all do that for each other, right? It's great.
That's great to know.
Yeah, it is. So, 3 pieces of advice. Number 1, don't use the Kennedy Center for new material. Probably a good idea. Maybe do it at Habitat first and don't show the logo so it doesn't get broken down. 2, if you're going through it, shut up. Don't scream into the void. You'll only make it worse. Write a joke about it. And whatever you do next, when you come back, everybody will watch. That's your pop. Everybody will watch. Make sure it's much deeper and introspective. You have learned something. You have evolved because of it. If you were like, screw you guys, and then 5 months later you come back and you're like, still screw you guys.
Right.
The audience who sided with you is different now. The audience has changed, right? Their connection is deeper. So your connection has to be deeper too. Can't be the same guy.
You're the second person I'm asking this question to, and this will be a last question because we can carry on through the day, Veer. Is, there is this question that this famous film critic Gene Siskel used to ask at his interviews, which became so popular that, because there's an Oprah movement right now. Oprah wrote a book on that same question. Okay. It's called What Is It That You Know? Oprah wrote the book called What Is It That I Know? And which is that no matter what happens in life, how many things change, don't change, etc., etc., etc. What is it about your life that you know for sure that will stay or will be regardless?
I think I know after having experienced more of the world than anybody I know. I've seen more of it. I've performed for more of it. And experienced a fair range of experiences and emotions. That there is no more beautiful, honest and surprising connection than laughter. And it is easy to equate laughter with frivolity, but it is strength. There is no stronger sound in the world than people sitting in a room laughing together. If you are in power, if you are without power, it can be the most terrifying sound you ever hear. Is people laughing together in a room. It is a showcase of strength. Projection of joy collectively is perhaps the strongest sound in the universe.
Is that why powerful people fear comedy?
Well, there's a line in this special where I say, comedians just say words. The audience tells the truth. If I look at somebody and I'm like, hey man, the roads in Bandra are awesome right now. You'll smile. I've said it with all seriousness. You've told the truth. I didn't say anything. You know what I mean? So really, you should be in jail, not me. right?
Veer Das, I really hope neither of us is in jail. let's end on a very, very positive note. Thank you for the truth telling.
Hey, thank you.
And really, thank you for being you.
Hey,
Veer.
thank you. I appreciate you. You've been amazing to me for a very long time.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Cheers.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.